Hello everybody. Welcome back to Wendy's Way. I haven't done a complete garden tour in a little while. Yesterday I got a bit carried away. I was looking at the forecast and it said in the next few days we're going to have temps in the 90s. And when it gets into the 90s in Iowa, oh my goodness. It tends to get humid. It tends to be really hard on plants. So I did a little overkill on my tomato pruning, but I'll show you in a bit. I'm going to start up here, I guess. Since I didn't get asparagus in this bed this year, I planted a bunch of sunflowers. And that's all that have grown. I put in 5 rows. They were some really old seed. They'd been out here in my hoop shed, you know, over last summer and last winter. So I didn't know if they'd be any good at all. Alright, let's start down here with the peppers. The peppers have gotten quite big, especially these hot peppers have gotten tall. And first the storms come in from one way, and then the storms come in from another way, and, you know, I put a stake in a few of them. Looks like that one's going to need a little help. Yep. You know, I've got a couple of tomato cages. I'll probably just put one around that plant so it doesn't break off, because other than that it's in really good shape. This row we're looking at right here, those are all bell peppers, and those were all like potted and repotted because I had the potting soil instead of the potting mix. So they're not the biggest, strongest ones. And that one, well, you know, all the natural rainwater in the last couple days has really done it a lot of good. But there are blooms. Blooms and blooms and blooms. All the plants in these 2 rows are bell. And that, as you'll see, is my first pepper. It's growing. It's my first pepper on. There are more coming. There's another one. Just starting out. Okay. Yep, we have bell peppers on. I haven't seen any of the warm peppers on yet. Now this plant, I'm going to ask again, if anyone recognizes this plant. It grew up in the pots with the bell peppers that I planted. One package was an Ozark Giant bell pepper that I got from Baker Creek. One package was a variety of colorful bell peppers that were a Northrop King package I've had along for a long time. But this came up in one of those pots, but it doesn't look like anything else. It doesn't look like any of the bell peppers. It doesn't look like these habaneros. Man, look at that stinker. Holy cow. I think these habaneros doubled in size overnight from all that rainwater. They just love natural rainwater. And we've had a few really warm days lately. And, you know, peppers, hot peppers, they do like sunshine and rain in even mixtures. I mean, it's only been a couple of days, day and a half since I mowed, and it's growing. All right. So, these again, I think these were the lemon citrus jalapeno. I see a lot of blooms. I don't think I see any peppers yet, but we're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. More. And these are so tall. Holy cow. You know, I mean, that bell pepper plant is almost taller than the 5-gallon bucket itself. That one too. As you can see, I posted those a little bit because of the storms. They're so tall and they were blowing over hard. You know, this plant looks a little bit like the one over there I'm trying to identify. I just may have gotten it out of place. Who knows? We'll see if it puts fruit on what it is, and then we'll know. Unless someone can identify it for me. Alright, that one's a little puny around the stalk, but other than that, you know, they're all looking pretty nice. If they all produce as well as they can. Oh yeah, here. These are my weeding efforts, you see. It's so hard to weed my garden, I tell you. It's the epitome of laziness, which, if you know me at all, suits me pretty well. It was a big lot of work to put all this together and to put it in. And harvesting and preserving, that'll be hard work. But weeding is nothing. Watering is simply time-consuming, not physically hard. Okay, purple potted pole beans. Yes, they are. They have climbed to the top. Every bucket's full, 2 or 3 plants, I think. And they're finally blooming. It took them a long time. And they're not all blooming yet. But as you'll see, the stems are purple. The flowers are purple. The beans, ooh. The beans will be purple until I cook them, which just isn't fair. I wanted purple beans in a jar. But Dad, you know, he has to be right. And he was. All right, I believe these are the limas. They might be the butterwax. Ended up being a pole bean. I haven't seen any fruit yet, but I'm almost positive these were the limas. But look at how they went up and out yet. They're still reaching. Like the purple potted, you know. They climb that trellis and look for more. Isn't that crazy? I love it. All right. My peas are full. You know, we're not going to have a lot. I don't care. It's a whole lot of fun. You know, maybe they'll put on more after I pick them. I really don't know how peas go because this is the first time I've grown them. But, you know, these are all young and flat. But look at the size of these pods. Going down the other side of the trellis, there's even more and bigger. Here we go. Wowzers. You know, if they fill these pods with big peas, goodness. This one is pretty loaded. Hey, that pod is just about full. Wowzers. Mammoth. And the plants are full of pods, you know. You can see them all down this side too. You know, they're growing on both sides of the trellis, which is making it really handy. You know, that one got a little twisted. It's still filling up though. That one too. We're gonna have some big, beautiful peas. Look at those stinkers. All right, you go back this way. Grab a hold. Grab and climb. I don't mind reaching. These pumpkin, that's enough, honey. Thank you. I think these are the yellow butterwax. Again, I've seen bloom. I've seen bloom. I've yet to see bean. Oh, yep, there we go. Now we know. They are not lima. They are yellow butterwax beans. There they are. They're growing like the green beans. The green bean bushes are getting full. There we go. Yep. Yellow butterwax beans. Beautiful, beautiful beans. I love string beans. I love string beans. Just, you know, don't overcook them. Just al dente, like pasta, with butter and a little salt. Can you tell the dogs are out here with me today? See all those little beanies? We are just full of little beanies. And more blooms. Ooh, we're getting bigger. We're getting bigger. It won't be long. Ooh, the bugs are out this morning too because it's not hot yet. So, the air is thick. Ooh, look at that. Beans and more beans. I forgot over here to show you the birdhouse gourds. I mean, I remember it was only been, what, a couple weeks that I was out here showing you the original leaves and how they look so different from the adult leaf. Now, maybe some of you can tell me, I don't know if you can see them or not, but these birdhouse gourds have ants on them. And, you know, all of them do. They're in a pot, they're not on the ground, but they have ants. So, are the ants what's biting a hole in the leaf? Or are the ants on birdhouse gourds kind of a symbiotic relationship like they are with peonies? Wow, that's unusual. It came from over there instead of going up, it went over. Yeah. However, see if we can help it climb instead of just going sideways. This one's getting bigger. I'll show you from the inside. You know, yep, that one broke. It was blowing hard yesterday for a while. Really, really hard. That storm blew in. I don't know if you watched my storm front video, but wowzers. All right, up, girly. Up, girly. See if we can train them up. All right, let's go back. We showed you the peppers. We showed you the birdhouse gourds. We showed you all the beans. Let's get over here. Monkey. Monkey. I know, it's just recycling. Relax. Holy cow. That rain did amazing things. This was not here yesterday. Swear to goodness, not an inch of it was here yesterday. I don't remember seeing it at all. This is the elusive loofah gourd. You know, again, in a previous video, I had planted loofah gourd seeds. I had them under the LED lights in the basement. Nothing happened. When I brought all the pepper plants out that had just kind of been sitting and waiting in the basement, I brought the pots that had loofah gourd seeds and ground cherry seeds. And they still didn't do anything sitting out here on a picnic table. Well, I just took them and I stuck them under my hoop shed. You know, just for future use. You know, I didn't dump them. I just sat the little pots in a storage thing there. Look at that. See, that's all new. Just from yesterday. The viney branches. Anyhow, a couple days later, I go into my hoop shed looking for something, and that pot had seeds growing in it. You know, that had been sitting there for weeks with nothing. Look at all these little, no doubt red cherry tomatoes. Oh, the clusters are filling up. And they're filling up. And these were the old spare plants, you know, that stayed in the starter pot longer than the rest. Anyhow, so yeah, we have 2 pots of loofah gourds now that I thought would not come. Also, I had several little pots with ground cherry seeds in them that had been there, you know, as long as the loofah. Nothing. Even after the loofah came out, there was nothing. But I thought, you know what? If the loofah started that late, and so I took the little pots with ground cherry seeds in them that weren't coming. See, look at there. Aren't those gorgeous? I have tomatoes all over. All over. And I figured if more clusters, pop them with fruit. That one kind of fell down. Need to get my tie tape out here again today. Did a bunch of it yesterday. Anyhow, I brought those little tubs with just soil and ground cherry seeds in it, and I dropped them, you know, in the end of a rain gutter. I thought, well, you know, they'll either grow or they'll just sit there and become mud. Anyway, about a week later, ta-da! There were plants growing in the stinking things. So, that's another video for later today. I'll show you ground cherries and some interesting peppers that I got from someone. Okay, oh, look at these. Look at them. My beefsteaks. Those are the littlest ones, the beefsteaks. And yes, I did prune that. I just pruned and pruned and pruned. Uh-oh. We got a broken piece. Yeah, we definitely had storm yesterday. I need to grab my tape because see here? That's not nice. But you know, I've picked up a branch from a tomato plant, just lifted it and tied it back, and it lived. Kept growing. So I'll get my tape out here. Look at these beefsteaks. They're just They're working on it. This was the first one to pop. I'm gonna have to tie this plant up too because that tomato's getting so stinking heavy. Hasn't started turning yet, but you know, it's as big as the palm of my hand. Bottom's getting white. Okay. Oh, and yesterday when I came out and pruned all these tomatoes, that pile is what I took off the tomato plants. It was as tall as my knee before the rain started. Later today, I'm going to move that pile into the composter. So, make some fresh dirt for my other beds. All right. These are the Bonnie Best, and they finally put on fruit. They were the last one, the very last one to put on fruit, but they're filling up. And really, it started a lot after I came out and did the manual pollinating thing. I don't recall whether I got that aired or I didn't get that aired, but I learned from M.I. Gardner, Michigan Gardener, and I've probably said it, but I'll say it again. He told us that tomato flowers, face downward, have both male and female organs in them, so that when a pollinator comes and buzzes around, technically they're not carrying pollen from one flower to another like they do with other plants. It's the vibration that taps the male pollen down over the female parts. So, for like 2-3 days straight, I came out and tapped flowers. and every time you see new flowers, you know, you can be your own pollinator. There's a pun for you. So, they're looking a little worse for wear because of the storm. And because I just pruned the ever-loving out of them yesterday. But you know, if it's going to be in the 90s the next few days, I want every bit of energy and water and, you know, that they take in to go where it needs to go. It needs to go to the flowers and it needs to go to the fruit. I don't want it going into a bunch of empty branches that, you know, are sucking up the energy and not producing anything and holding in all the humidity. You know, the plants need to be able to get some breeze through and cool themselves off because it's going to be hot, hot. These are beautiful too. And there are tomatoes on every one. Oh, look at this. Humma. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, let's get this one over out of there so they're not stuck together. Sorry, I've got bugs. Bugs pestering me. One of them has a hole in it. It's been attacked. We're full up. What are these? Dad's Sunset. These are the orange low acid tomatoes. And they're getting full. These are bigger. Bigger plants these are. These yellow pear. They were a Northrop King plant. Seed, I should say. And they have clusters filling up here and there. Not as excited about these as I am about the heirloom stuff, but you know what? Yellow pear tomatoes are going to taste really good too. Just pick them off the vine and pop them in your mouth. Or share them. Now this is a purple Russian, I can tell. You know, one of my yellow pear succumb. And so I filled in with some extra purple Russian. And here we go again. Oh. Yeah, these are really pruned back because they're really lanky anyway. But these are those crazy purple Russian. They're shaped so funny. Oh, they're like ridgy on the top, like the beefsteak, but pointed on the bottom. That one's got a split. I have a feeling it was too hot too fast. But, oh man. And the plants the entire time have looked almost dead, you know? Well, that one's a purple Russian. These are not. These are the red cherry. The purple Russian plants looked almost, you know, they were so wilty the entire time. These are getting really big for a red cherry. Anyway, but they have produced, even though they looked wilty. Tomatoes. All right, now we're getting around. Don't want to make you dizzy. Sorry about that. Getting around to the rest of these purple Russians. And it amazes me. I guess I thought they were a big tomato. I didn't expect them to grow in such a cluster on just one stem if they're going to be that big. But they're growing in clusters. Oh my goodness. Got some neighbors waving at the dogs, making them happy bark. Happy bark. More of these gorgeous purple Russians. I can't wait to see what they look like. This one, I propped it up. I didn't, it's getting full, and it looks like every flower, I didn't want it hitting the dirt and getting yucky, and, you know, maybe picking up something it shouldn't pick up from the dirt. So I propped it up, and man, the tomatoes on there are so much bigger than they were just yesterday. This thing is full. Okay, I think we're done. You know, obviously the spruce trees are growing. Obviously the dogs are having fun when it's not so silly hot out here. I cleaned out my, that's not gonna let me zoom on a video. Oh, it did. Let me zoom on a video. I cleaned out my daylily bed. And from the other side, it's really pretty. I'll show you that later, too. Another spruce tree that's growing like mad. Oh, wait. There's something you need to see. Trying not to make you so dizzy. Sorry about that. The fruit trees. I forgot to show you the fruit trees. That's part of the garden, right? The orchard. Well, we'll get something out of one anyway. But I just want to show you how everything in the yard is growing. This tree, I think they're 4, maybe 5 years old. And it's full of little green apples. Little green apples everywhere. This one is filling up pretty nice. It's only the second year it's had any fruit at all. I, trimmed it heartily, probably at the wrong time of year. Little green apples, little green apples. Little green apples with brown spots. Anyway, so this one is doing really well. Really filling with fruit. Now, turn and go this way. This is a dwarf pear tree. And as hard as I might, I don't find more than one fruit. I don't even know if you can see it in the camera because it's bright out here. There it is. That's the only pear that I see on the tree. Oh well. Who knows? Hey, it looks like it might rain again. And this little apple tree, well, I honestly think that trimming it late and heartily did it some good because it's finally growing. Nope, not fruit. But it's actually finally growing. It has been so small and so short and so beat up, but I trimmed it good. Back there is that little, yep, Chickie's gonna go show it to you. The volunteer walnut tree that I pulled out of Dad's yard and put in a bucket. I know eventually I'm gonna be sad that I have walnuts in the yard. But, you know, those two can be raked up or broken and shared and eaten. The blooming cherry tree. Oh boy. I trimmed the hooey out of that one too because I couldn't get under it with the lawnmower. It was killing me, and a lot of the branches were half dead or just, you know, having issues. So I decided I was going to cut it back way back so that I could get under it. And if it kept growing and looking good, great. And so far so good. It seems to be doing really well since I tortured it. Hasn't been that long ago. Now, red oak. Red oak's looking awesome. Growing really well this year, as always. All these trees, like I say, are... The fruit trees may be 5... Oh, here come some kids. Dogs are going to bark. Fruit trees may be 5 years old. The rest of these, 4 maybe. And I remember early this spring showing you this Kentucky coffee tree here next to Polly the propane tank, and how when we got it, and for most of its life it's nothing but a stick. This year, wow, you know, I gotta back up. This year it's growing beyond all belief. I mean, you know, it doesn't just look like mistletoe hanging out of a mesquite tree anymore. It's actually a full tree. I am gonna put a T-post next to it again to hold it up because it's gotten so heavy on the top that skinny little trunk tends to sway in the wind. All right, so wow, our Kentucky coffee stick has become a Kentucky coffee tree. And our little Polly, she's doing well out here for all the sunshine and wind that she has received. You know, Bubba secured her pretty well. I zip-tied her bows and her flowers and her bucket. And she's my mascot. She's out here welcoming everybody to the garden. Okay, y'all. I think I'm going to leave it on this note. Thank you so much for joining me on this full garden tour. May the good Lord, who blesses me each and every day of my life, bless you as well, today and always. Amen.